This is Dave from Rock and Reel Reviews, and welcome along to Podcast 7. Joining me on Podcast 7, we'll have a few of the Rock and Reel reviewers. Today we have my man Duncan.
Hello!
Also have Baz joining us.
How are we all?
And Mikey.
Black Dynamite!
So we have a few reviewers joining us today. This will be slightly different to the other podcasts. We'll be doing maybe slightly longer than usual, but today we're going to be talking about some movies and some albums that we think you should check out. The reviews are already on the website, so feel free to go and have a read of them. But these are movies or albums that we've given the glorious 5 stars to over the last couple of months. So we're going to be talking about some of that, and then we're going to be talking about our favourite movie soundtracks as well. That was quite a good topic for discussion. And we've also got some upcoming releases that we're going to be discussing, and due dates and stuff like that as well. Not due dates as in kids, but I mean due dates as in release dates.
Due.
First things.
Hanukkah.
First, we're going to talk about a wee movie. We've only had a couple of 5-star movies in the last wee while. The other one that we had was Despicable Me 2, but obviously we don't have Lee here today to discuss it, so we're going with Mikey's 5-star, which was Star Trek Into Darkness.
Boom! Sci-fi awesomeness.
So why should folk check this out, and do you need to be a Trekkie to watch this, or could anyone go and appreciate this type of film?
Not in the slightest.
I would totally agree with that.
You don't have to be a Trekkie in the slightest. You could get on board with the whimsical and colourful characters that J.J. Abrams has brought to the big screen. No bother at all. In fact, the first film was quite good as well. I'd say the second one was better than the first one. I would say that this was J.J. Abrams' Empire Strikes Back, if you will.
Do you need to have seen the first one, Mikey?
No, not really. No. I mean, you probably get a little bit more understanding of the main characters. Your sort of your Kirks, your Spocks, your Uhuras, and McCoys. You know, just how they kind of function. But I think the second film set maybe a couple of years after the first one, so they're kind of all a bit more gelled, a bit more bonded. So it's quite good. So it kind of gets straight into it. You know, so there's no the first film kind of sets the story up, sets the character up. The second one kind of just bypasses it all, assuming that you know who's here, and gets fired right into it. And it's actually pretty epic. I was thoroughly enjoyed from start to finish. I only had, I'd say, had any issues with it. It was quite fast paced, and there was an awful lot of ground to cover on it. But no, that's why I gave it a 5, because it was just a really entertaining film. And obviously the characters, obviously the new edition of Benedict Cumberbatch, because he's a great character. I can't really. Am I allowed to do spoilers?
Yeah, spoiler.
It's just the fact the character that he plays is a nod to the previous film, as in Star Trek.
2. Yeah.
Aye.
It's the second one, aye.
Yep. With that Wrath of Khan and that a pretty iconic character, but. There is a backstory that isn't covered in the film, but they've just released 2 comics that will give you the backstory of Khan to see how that all kind of transpires. But you'd have to really be into it. But you don't have to be into it. You watch it, you see it. It is what it is. Bad guys do their thing, good guys do their thing, and the film finishes on a level playing field that could open it up for something else.
Cool. Anyone else? Duncan, you saw it as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm a big Trekkie, so I like the first J.J. Abrams film. I quite like the idea of basically, instead of trying to bring a new cast and all the rest and try and go off and do a new story, what they basically did was they created an event at the beginning of the first one which altered the timeline.
Yeah.
So basically you've got all the same characters from your original series, but things are now different. They've all grown up differently, completely differently, and but they've all ended up back in the same place. I really like that. thought the villain was okay in that film, but was quite excited about the whole Benedict Cumberbatch thing, and obviously they tried to keep as much of the spoiler side of things down as possible, but it had been leaked months before the film, so anyone that's been kind of spitting the dummy saying, oh, I can't believe I spoiled it for us, has been out there in the domain for ages. I mean, and he is brilliant in it. This is the first time I've seen him in a villain role. I would happily see him as a villain again. He's just such... I mean, he's not a big guy, but he's very, very intimidating on the screen. Like the scenes with
He's got
him,
a good presence.
yeah, the scenes with him behind the kind of perspex, kind of almost the jail cell, very reminiscent of Hannibal, Lecter. You know what I mean? That sort of really intimidating presence. You know, people are actually scared to even stand and talk to him. Brilliant. I would agree with you. The action is fucking a mile a minute. But I think they've had to do that because I think if it had stopped at any point and you'd had time to think about what you'd just seen, you'd probably call bullshit on it.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant.
Because are you original Trekkie fan?
I like them all.
Aye, because that's how I would put the perspective. I hated the original Trekkie stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a Shatner fan, I'm not a Next Gen fan, I didn't really watch Star Trek at all, but I'd happily watch both of those films, and I look forward to whatever comes next.
Well, I think he's obviously set himself up a nice story, potentially Klingon based in the third film, which would be fucking fantastic.
Hopefully it doesn't cross universes and that Boba Fett makes an appearance on it.
If he gets his film franchise. But no, I totally loved it. I thought as action films go, as big kind of blockbuster action films go, Star Trek has kind of set the bar for me in terms of action films. I think it's been better than any superhero film that I've seen this year in terms of your big action films. And there's a degree bias here because I'm a Trekkie, but I thought it was fucking brilliant. I think the cast are coming into their own as well. What's the name of the guy that plays Spock?
Oh god, it's
Zachary Quinto.
Yeah,
That's it,
he's
aye.
fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The only gripe I've got with the film, the film is that if you haven't seen the first one, Leonard Nimoy's Spock character is in that, right? And he's in this one as well, almost as a phone a friend. It's almost one of these fucking Who Wants to Be a Millionaire moments where they're stuck at something and one Spock phones the other Spock for some advice. What did you do? Oh, well, I did this. Oh, well, thanks very much. And I was like, do we have to have a nod back to the old Spock? I mean, you've done that in the previous film. Let's just move with the new cast. And that was my only gripe, but it's a stunning film.
Excellent.
I've not seen it myself. I've seen the first one, the first J.J. Abrams one. I quite enjoyed that. I'm the same as Mikey. I'm not a Trekkie fan at all. Growing up kind of in the late 70s and early 80s and that, I was more Star Wars. And that's obviously better because that's real. So, I was never a big...
They have Jedi, which is a religion.
Exactly.
yeah.
So I wasn't a big Trekkie by any means. I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. I watched it with my wee actually. It was on Sky the other week. But she went to see the second one where Grandpa was a big sci-fi fan, and she said it was quite good. So there we go.
Well, you heard it here first. 5 stars and quite good.
If you're looking for a job. Cool. I haven't seen it. I liked the first one though. And kind of like you guys, I'm not really into the whole Star Trek thing or Star Wars, to be fair. But
Fuck off, Dave.
Yeah, we'll have to have words about that.
There's three Star Wars fans in here.
yeah. But yeah,
Get out.
Oh no, you're supposed to move your hands like this and say it, Tom. You can't see this, but we're doing the Jedi mind trick. Get out, Dave.
aye. So check that one out. It was a wee 5-star movie review. As I say, we haven't had a lot of those this year. Movies have been kind of up and down this year. There's been anything that's been really like...
The ones you thought were going to be.
Hyped ones
haven't
have
been.
not lived up to the hype at all.
Which I think I quite liked that for Star Trek because it kind of boosted my hopes a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I went to see that before. Was that before Iron Man 3?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
That
I
was.
think it was it?
No.
No?
No, was it after Iron Man 3?
It's after Iron Man 3 because I expected your first 5-star film to be
Oh,
Iron
Iron
Man
Man 3 and it
That's
came in, you gave it 3 stars and then a couple of weeks later you saw Star Trek.
Aye, and it kind of restored my faith in
Yeah,
movie making.
yeah.
Aye, that's right. Aye. Right, so it has been a bit of a lull movies wise.
Aye. Yeah, I don't think we've got many 5 stars on the site. 3 or 4 maybe, I think.
I think, but, well, I can see, I saw Pacific Rim yesterday, went to see it in the cinema, but I don't think it's a 5-star film. I think if you go in just looking for a summer blockbuster, it ticks every box.
Right.
It delivers in spades.
That's the attitude now. I'm dying to see it on the basis that I loved Robot Jocks, Arena, and Crash and Burn from the 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
And if it's anything like that, but with modern technology, it'll be fucking epic.
If you've seen any manga with like anything with mechs in it at all, and that sort of thing they do, is basically that. It's almost like cartoon characters controlling. The action sequences are ridiculous, and it gets right into it in the first 5 minutes. That's you're set up, whole film's in, and there's no lull in it at all. And but there's no real character.
See, this is the problem.
Character analysis or anything like that. But you have to. I think it depends what you're going to see. If you're going to see a popcorn flick, you need to take that sort of in-depth character building up, and you really need to just put that at the back door and just sit and enjoy it.
The word that upsets me with films just now is that's ridiculous. Not in the terms of the film or the story or anything, but people go and watch a film now, and for some bizarre reason they want the action to be validated in real life. I don't understand why people want that. The whole reason of moving pictures, even back in the day, was you were going to see a spectacle you wouldn't see in normal day life. So Keystone Cops, you wouldn't see 12 guys hanging off the back of a Model T Ford flying around the street of San Francisco trying to chase a bad guy who's going to get catapulted up 4 stories on a fucking ladder. So when you go and see Star Trek and you see them the first one when they do that kind of base jump all the way down, all the way, and people, that's ridiculous. Is it? We just seen a guy jump from the outer stratosphere, right? Granted, he wasn't following a line of chain that was boring a hole into the earth right enough, but the principle's the same. And then when you see things like Iron Man 3 or Superman, it's, that's fucking stupid, punching a guy through a building. He's Superman though. That's what he does. So shut up.
The thing is, you're preaching to a horror fan.
Exactly.
Pretty much every film I ever look at, remotely horror basis, is complete fantasy. You know what I mean? And for someone to, and that's the general criticism. It's completely unrealistic. That's right. Ghosts aren't fucking real. That's why it's unrealistic. It'd be a shit ghost film if it had a ghost in it, though, wouldn't it?
Because what you're going to do, you're going to take your Mad Axe Man or Ghost and replace it with a Ned with a bottle of Buckfast and an axe. You're getting me, man. That happens every weekend. It's quite boring. I want to see something. That's why when I was watching Fast and the Furious 6, and I got reprimanded on Facebook for it because I said it was shit, and somebody said, that's the type of person that you are. Fuck you. That's to whoever it was that said that. I know who it was that said. I'm just not saying any names. But the point of the matter is, we know you can't get catapulted off your cars through the air, catch people and land on cars whilst they're moving at 8 miles an hour in an opposite direction. We know we don't build fucking... Exactly, without being injured as well. We know they don't have runways the same length as fucking Britain, so you can film that one scene. Nobody's seen The Matrix. Fuck's sake, there is no spoon. Films are good. Escapism. Get with the program, people.
Moving on to the albums.
Let's take a short break if you don't mind. So on to albums. Swiftly moving on. We've had a few of the old 5-star album reviews recently because, let's face it, there is more music coming in than
films.
than films,
Until the software's available for us to make our own films,
Who knew there was this much music actually being produced at the moment?
Fucking ridiculous.
And such a big scale.
It is ridiculous.
You remember the website that we write for is niche in terms of it's writing for specific genres. I don't even want to take into account what's coming out in fucking country music, pop music, whatever. It's just the sheer volume of metal, punk, and rock albums that are coming out is
phenomenal.
Fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'd hate to think what the likes of like Metal Hammer and Rock Sound Kerrang actually receive in terms of albums for review and stuff.
I mean, they're monthly editions of a magazine, and there's maybe 4 pages of reviews. We're doing more reviews than that on a monthly basis. They must really be picky when it comes to what they review.
In fairness to Kerrang, there's only so many good Charlotte albums come out in a year, so they probably cope alright. If you're listening, Kerrang, yous are shite. I remember when you were good. I remember Mega Metal Kerrang, that was a real fucking magazine.
Before they changed it to the Quran.
Charlatans.
No, the good charlatans.
Why did I not see that? That was so obvious.
It's alright, you've not been here for a while, it's alright. It's a bit rusty.
So first album, Fuck You Kerrang, is a doom album. The man Dunk reviewed the new album from Demon Lung. It was called The 100th Name, and it came out on good old Candlelight Records.
Candlelight Records, motherfucker.
Wee spot in my heart, that label. It was their first album, although they'd had a wee EP before that, didn't they?
That's right, yeah.
And they're from Las Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
So so what did you think? Why did you give it a 5-star?
Well, their EP came out last year. I was speaking to the guys earlier on. It came out last year to very little sort of fanfare at all. It was a self-release, kind of DIY affair. Had maybe about 4 or 5 songs in it. And I remember hearing it, and it was just as it's one of the first albums I got from you, well, EPs anyway, I got from you last year. And I wasn't really into the whole Doom thing, which is kind of funny when you see how ridiculously I'm into it now. I mean, so much so that we're calling me Doomcan now as opposed to Duncan. But it just
Doesn't have the same ring.
it doesn't have the same. The EP was brilliant, and there was bits on it. I mean, the production, as Doom goes, the production was really good, and I just felt that if they just had anything more, they would get a 5. It's unfair to give 5s to EPs, I think, because EPs you're picking the best of
There's very rarely
3-4 songs,
a big track on it.
Yeah. So the album's come out. I heard that they signed Candlelight. Love Candlelight Records. They were my record label of the year last year. No awards were given though.
Are they giving you money for the amount of time you say Candlelight?
No,
Just
but
free CDs, actually.
But when I heard that it was getting released through, I think it's US and Europe, both on Candlelight, I was excited. And I was expecting the same sort of idea of what, maybe even the same tracks, but on an album. No, they went away and they've done a concept album. And I've taken a note here that the concept is the story of the undoing of creation by Satan's long-begotten son using the 3 lost parts of the Devil's Bible. Now that pretty much is like fucking heaven to my ears. I was like, this sounds amazing. This is fucking Rosemary's Baby. I can't fucking wait. Rosemary's Baby on CD. And I shoved it on and I was a bit underwhelmed straight away. Because opening track, the first 3 minutes are just this really horrible whiny feedback. And I was like, oh no, what have you done? What have you done? And then the opening riff kicked in and it pretty much just booted me in the balls. The album is fucking, anyone that loves big hairy riffs, this album is chocker with it. The only thing I can compare it to in terms of riffs is Conan last year. It was just wall to wall fucking slow punishing riffs. This is the American equivalent. This is the American Conan with female vocals. The vocals are fucking brilliant on it. She uses a weird effect to make her sound kind of trippy, maybe kind of late 70s, early 80s kind of trippy metal vocals. And it's just fucking stunning. It's such a heavy, well-paced, well-recorded and well-written album. And if you like Doom, this is the Doom album this year. Fuck everything else, this is the Doom album this year. You need to own it.
There you go. The new album from Demon Lung. I listened to it as well, but I was a bit like yourself. The first time I listened to it, I was a bit like, I'm not quite sure what to make of that, really. I think it was the first track that kind of threw me a bit.
It's too late. It's fuck. That's the one negative is that the choice to have 3 minutes of feedback opening the first song. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get past that, the riffs are just fucking.
I've quite a short attention span, so when it was lasting for so long, I was a bit like, I really want to skip this track because it's just fucking doing my head in. But it's one of these albums that if you do listen to it a couple of times, you start to get more and more into it, and I found myself liking it more each time I listened to it. Very cool album, yeah. It's safe to say none of you guys were.
I'm not going to lie, I've not had a chance to listen to it. I heard a very brief couple of minutes when we were chatting before the podcast started there. What I'd watched straight away for that is I was quite impressed with the girl's vocals.
I like her vocals.
Yeah. But to be honest, you'd sent it through yesterday for us to listen to before it, and there was a couple other albums that come through, and my whole fucking morning was just taken up with the glory that is those 2 albums. So Demon Lung was on to Plums.
Nice.
I was actually quite indifferent about it. You know, the only positive I would give them is that they're American and they're not metalcore. So well done. And there's no a guy singing who wants to sound like a chick. They've actually got a chick who wants to sound like a guy. Yeah. So I would give that as a positive because she's got quite decent growly.
She's got it's a male range of vocals, a male kind of doom range of vocals. So I can see where you're coming from with that.
And I can see, but it's not something I would listen to. But out of the 3 that I was given to listen to in preparation for the podcast, that was my second favourite out of the 3 on the basis I don't really listen to doom, so I wouldn't really want to say it was good or bad. But I can hear tints of like Orange Goblin or Black Sabbath or the old school. I'd give it so from that point of view. If you're into doom, you'll probably like this album. It's no for me. So I'll not say anything that would be detrimental to the fact. Not to this band anyway.
Saving that. So that was Demon Lung, the 100th name. Check it out. It's out now on Candlelight Records. Next one is also a Candlelight Records album.
Oh aye, funny that.
They're releasing good stuff.
When this thing goes live, there's going to be a Candlelight fucking jingle all through this, isn't there?
Candlelight.
I think it's me and David just spent the last 5 minutes saying Candlelight, pretty much like Beetlejuice. The record labels behind us. But we'll kind of went through that. This next album we got 5. Who reviewed that?
That was me.
Chicks in the mail.
I'm surprised they didn't liken the last Doom band to Candlemass.
Actually.
Did you?
You should say that. Sounds like
Candlemass.
Peace.
Like any true Candle Duncan, you do like the way.
That was fucking tenuous at best.
Oh yeah, we can edit that one out later on.
Leaving that in. So next one was a band called Armed for Apocalypse. I mean, the name of the band already sold 5 stars basically on the name. The album was called The Road Will End. They're from California. This is their second full-length release, as I said, on Candlelight Records. Candlelight in Europe, I should say, by the way. It's Ironclad Records in America that the album went out on. I'd heard of Armed for Apocalypse before. I had their last album, which was called Defeat. 2009, I think that came out. And when I heard Defeat for the first time, I was completely and utterly blown away. The band are a kind of the main element of the band is a kind of sludge sound that they've got going, but they do incorporate other wee bits of thrash, and they're quite heavily groove based in their music as well. When I heard Defeat, I was totally blown away, and then I heard this new album was coming out. I thought I really didn't think they could top it, but I was totally my mind was blown basically listening to this album. I really was. I couldn't believe they'd actually upped it and done a better album than Defeat, but the proof is there. It was definitely a 5 star for me. It's the best album I've heard this year, and I did give another 5 this year, but this one is actually better. It's ridiculously heavy, so if you're not into kind of heavy sludge grooves, then this probably isn't for you, but if you are into bands like Black Sheep Wall or Soylent Green or Crowbar, Superjoint Ritual, that type of thing, then this will be right up your street. Ridiculously heavy, great vocals, production is very, very kind of sludge orientated. It's not too overproduced. They've got a couple of tracks up on YouTube just now. They recorded a couple of live tracks, but obviously within a kind of studio type idea, and they sound really good as well, so I'd really like to check them out live as well. So I can't recommend this enough, really. Armed for Apocalypse.
Are you sure?
Alright, okay. I'm going by it basically. It's fucking awesome. It's out on the 22nd of July. And that is it.
5 stars,
5 stars.
Although I wouldn't have given them 5 stars for the name. Armed for Apocalypse.
Armed for Apocalypse.
If it'd been armed for the Apocalypse, then 5 stars. But that's just bad grammar. Armed for Apocalypse. Apocalypse isn't a person. It's a cataclysmic event. Armed.
As in holding the right to bear arms.
I know.
Alright.
I know. Armed for the Apocalypse.
Alright, I know.
Aye. They've got it armed for Apocalypse, as in Apocalypse being a person, as in the X-Men character.
Yes, you're saying, yes.
So it's grammatically incorrect there.
It's fucking amazing how you can turn anything into comics, Mikey. It's unbelievable. What a talent.
Not at all. I'm just thinking. No, I'm up with really cool, jaggy names like armed for the apocalypse because we haven't had one yet. So if you want to be armed for it, specify. It's not a person. It's a cataclysmic event.
I didn't go into detail on the name as much as Mikey did, but I quite liked it, to be fair.
I thought the album. I've only listened to it twice.
What?
I'll listen to it twice.
I've not listened
Shame
to all
on
the
you.
review.
Stop
Shame on
sending me.
you.
Stop sending me music, and I get a chance to listen to albums more than in fact, keep sending me music. Keep sending me music. Keep sending us music, guys. I listened to it twice, and funnily enough, my impression of the album didn't change at all on the second listen. You pretty much this band wears all its influences and its sound on its sleeve. It doesn't deviate from its structure. You know what every song is pretty much going to sound like. Like you say, they throw in wee elements of thrash, throw in some elements of hardcore. The hardcore stuff they do throw in is brilliant, but they're not like a metalcore band or a deathcore band or anything like that. They're just a really heavy, angry, pissed off sounding band, and it's fucking brilliant. Really, really good album. And if you like heavy music, even if you're not into the kind of hardcore thing and the thrashing, if you like just heavy music, really aggressive heavy music, this is the band. They do it very well.
Yeah.
It was. I gave it a listen when David sent it through. It came through with the next album we're going to talk about, which I'm not mentioned, which was one that Mikey had done. And out of the two of them, I much preferred the next one that's coming up. Kind of thing. The album for Apocalypse one, it's just too heavy for me. I'm not saying it's a bad album by any means, but it's just it's too heavy for me. But I find that like a lot of the bands that you rate highly, Cattle Decapitation and all these kind of bands. I can get it, I can appreciate it, but it just doesn't float my boat. And Arm for Apocalypse was a bit like that. I also thought I didn't like the wee fucking gay parrot thing on the cover. That was a bit crap. You know what I mean?
I never noticed
Parrot
that
thing.
That's a wee bird thing with a massive beak on the cover.
I didn't see this.
Yeah, that.
You know, there we go. Aye. What's the one?
Pretty fucking
What's the
vicious
one
looking.
Adam's tattoos?
When you said parrot, it wasn't quite what I had in mind when I saw the cover.
Well, it looks like a parrot with leprosy or something.
I would not surprise me if Thingy from Everything I Died designed that.
Yeah.
Because that looks like one of his drawings. Maybe do some research after the podcast.
Maybe it's Cthulhu-esque. I don't know. Maybe, sort of some sea monster.
It's an evil looking.
It doesn't look pleasant. Whatever.
It doesn't look gay either.
It's like a mental parrot.
metal pad.
Anyway, aye. It's alright. Too heavy.
Too heavy.
I listened to it on the way down the road because I didn't get it until last night, but I had 2 hours to kill, so I listened to it, and I liked a couple of the tracks, and I was doing a little bit of surfing just to find out where the band's sort of influences come. I do, however, really, really like that on their biography on Facebook, amongst other bands and artists that they like, like Helmet, Down, Crowbar, Pantera and all that, they've added Weezer in there as well. In between Bloodbath and Abominable Iron Sloth.
I think on the next album they should have a rendition of My Name Is Jonas. I would quite like that.
I also like upon investigating band, because I always like to know where it all comes from. Obviously they're a Californian band, but I like the fact that the members of the band, 4 of them, you've got Kirk Williams on guitar and vocals, and you've got Cale Hunter who does guitar and vocals, Corey Vispra who does bass and vocals, but Nick Harris, their drummer, he also provides charisma.
Amazing.
Drums and charisma. So from the comical side of the band, I quite like them. There was a couple of tracks on it I did like. It was a bit heavier. It was some nice. I don't know if you can refer to them as beatdowns these days, but middle eights.
It's very. It does have a southern vibe running through it as well.
Yeah.
I should have mentioned that. Probably picking up from
a
that.
Californian band.
Which is where I switch off then, because I don't really do that whole kind of crowbar-y, sort of southern sludgy stuff.
Yeah.
But I know you guys like it, and
yeah.
as opposed to that ogre core that he likes.
Ogre core.
A drummer with charisma, whatever next.
Pretty charismatic. If you watch the videos, I'm telling you. Yes. Anyway, so moving on. That was Arm for Apocalypse. The Road Will End, out on July 22nd. Next one was a Mikey review. The band are called Scarred, and they're from Luxembourg, which. Don't really get a lot of bands from
The
Luxembourg.
home of metal, Dave. The home of metal.
Well,
They've got a lot from Luxembourg.
Secret home of metal.
and this was their second album. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to pronounce this. Is it Gaia or Gaia?
Gaia, I
Gaia.
Gaia.
Mother Earth.
Yes.
Gaia Meda.
Guy Maida.
Yeah. And it was out
Guy made a
on.
what?
Sorry, what?
Guy made up what?
Boom.
Thanks very much, guys. You know what I mean?
Made of cheese. Guy who made of cheese.
Guy Ameda, out on Clonosphere Records, and as far as I can find out, this is their second album. I think that it said something about that in the press release. So, Mikey, why did you give this a 5?
Because it's fucking awesome.
Right.
Quite simply, fucking the best album I've heard. No, that's not true. It's a really, really, really good album. But the thing that makes it really, really good is that there's all these sort of like, I'm going to use this word here, right? And by no means are this band like that or their genre. But just in order to set up the next bit, I need to use it.
Right.
So, see these gent bands that are kicking about?
It's like a red flag.
I know, but he'll understand this because he liked this album, right?
So what you're saying is, if he likes this album, he likes Gent.
No, I would never say that because I'll be picking my next one day to go. But the fact of the matter is that it's the technical element of Gent that gives it that sort of mathematical rhythmical signature, right? Scarred have got that, but what they've done is they've seemed to have adopted this new tone, this new sound with a similar ilk. But what they've done is they've taken old school thrash, and I likened it to Pantera, the way Dimebag used to write his guitar riffs. So you're taking that kind of thrash, I suppose it is kind of southerny sludgy as well, with a mixture of a kind of tech, modern, genty kind of an idea, but smashed it together into a formula that isn't a formula. Because when you hear it and it starts playing, there's all these stop starts and new rhythms, and I always remember Dimebag and Vinnie Paul. In fact, Phil Anselmo used to say that they used to call it the is it the sweet riff or whatever, like the main riffs that you always remember from a Pantera song were always lobbed in the middle somewhere, and it was repeated over and over again because that was the Gid riff, and then it was just sort of sandwiched in between all the other wee bits that made up the rest of the song. Scarred have done that. They've taken really, really awesome riffs and sandwiched them in between the Gid riffs, but weren't they long enough, and then you've just got this lengthy album that's just, if it was an ECG, it'd be fucking spiking all over the shop. It's just really, it's really catchy, it's really rhythmical, and it's there's no pissing about, there's no clean vocals, no soaring to the periphery nonsense kind of fuck off man, you're not a bird, and it's just really aggressive but really, really poignant and really nice.
I think what I would like to say about it specifically, I don't listen to kind of as extreme, kind of heavy stuff as you guys do, but what I liked about that, it was really accessible for such a heavy album. I think most mainstream metal fans could sit and listen to that and thoroughly enjoy it. There was just nice wee bits, there was always something kind of new happening, but it always maintained its melody. The album that kept coming out in my head, and again, it didn't sound anything like that album, but the 12 Foot Ninja album for last year, there was just always something new happening, and I liked that about that album. This had the same effect. Much heavier and more constant album than the 12 Foot Ninja one was. But yeah, for me it was the fact, for an album that was as heavy as it was, I think it was really accessible and enjoyable. Thought it was great. I
like the reference to 12 Foot Ninja album because I was a slow start on that one, but that's a fucking epic album as well.
Yep.
But it's I could see why you would liken it to that on the basis that it was fresh, different and new.
Yeah, totally.
But still within the sort of confines of metal.
Yeah. I quite enjoyed it as well, actually. Production wise, it's pretty good. It's pretty sharp production, and I agree with what you said about the riffs in the middle. The ones in the middle are the ones that stand out, and there's usually some sort of break and a wee build up into that riff, and then it kicks in kind of full pelt, and I quite like that. For me there was a heavy Gojira influence on it. But that's not a bad thing. Gojira are a good band, and there's not a lot of bands really out there that sound like Gojira, so fair play to them.
Production's a good one to pick up on because Joachim, the former guitarist from Textures, produced them. And because he's obviously left Textures now to continue doing that route, and if he keeps producing bands like that, there'll be more to come. Definitely, because it's great. Everything's just beautifully balanced on its sides, whether it be the guitars, the bass, and if you look at some of the videos online or some of their playthroughs, it's clinical, and it's just the only one that doesn't look comfortable playing his instruments, the drummer. Interestingly enough, but he's good. He just looks odd. I don't know if that's a Luxembourg thing or not, but it's still quite entertaining watching.
Charisma, it's the fucking problem.
What about you, Doug? Did you ever listen?
I did. Solid. It's a solid album. Really, I can't really go into any more detail than what's been said. I would agree with you. Gojira. I was actually, it's funny you mentioned the Textures connection, because that's kind of what, like the first time I heard the very first Textures album.
Polars,
Yeah, Polars. And I remember hearing it and going, this sounds like nothing I've ever heard.
Aye.
So that was kind of like that. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a Gojira influence, but they do their own stab at it. So they're not Gojira clones, and there are a lot of Gojira clones just now. This band, it's interesting. I would like to see where they go next. And pals, we were saying that maybe there isn't a lot of kind of singing going up to. I think they could maybe do with. If I was changing anything or if I was recommending something, I would like to see them maybe do a wee bit more melody. But as albums go, like I say, very, very, very solid album. Yeah, I liked it. Like a lot.
Nice. So that's Scarred. It is out already, so you can go out and purchase it or download it.
Dave, I've got a question here.
Oh, yes.
We were obviously saying that all of us have been talking about 5-star albums.
Yeah.
Baz hasn't given a 5-star out yet. And
No.
Baz is going to talk about an album, so
Yeah.
what's it? Is this a 4.5 or is it a 4?
Wasn't it quite the 5 stars that that we've been giving out, Duncan? This next album. It was reviewed by Baz, but it wasn't a 5-star. It was a 1-star.
A 1-star
Yeah.
review. Oh my god.
Aye, and in fairness, I think I've been quite generous to this fucking band.
Yeah, we always like to throw in a wee album that maybe we didn't like so much over the last few months, and this seemed to be, actually it equalled another album, but I'm not going to mention that band or album because I think we've given them far too much promotion as it is. So I'm going to...
TV.
Dude.
That's hey, abbreviations are fine.
Alright, okay. Fuck that band. So decided to go for this one, a band called Aggressor, and their mini album, as they're calling it, Nuclear Death plus Demo 1. Snappy title. They're from Australia, and the album was released on Iron Bonehead Productions. Yeah, I'm going to hand this over to Baz because I've got a feeling he's going to let loose on this one. But yeah, what did you think of Aggressor, Baz?
Oh mate, I don't even know where to begin with this. Right, the story as to why this thing got reviewed. I say to Mike earlier on there, and Duncan's already referenced it, we get so much music through that we just can't be struggling. I mean, we've got a much bigger team at Rock and Deals now as well, and even with that, we still struggle to keep up with the volume we're getting in.
Yeah.
So occasionally, I'll try and sift through it and find something that's maybe no my bag, or a different kind of genre, or just something a wee bit different, rather than sticking to kind of what you're comfortable with. And this album was buried away down in an email that we'd got through from some PR guy. There was about 6 or 7 albums in there. I can't even remember what the rest of them were. But this was buried away at the bottom, and what it actually is, it's a re-release of what they have classed as the great lost Australian thrash. No, the missing link in Australian extreme metal, I think was the exact phrase that was fucking used, right? It was released, I don't know, sometime in the late 80s, I think.
1988.
1988, there we go. And in the press blurb that came with it, they made a big thing out of the fact that the drummer went on to play with a band called Sadistic Executioner. And it was put across as if to say the drummer went on to play with you too. Do you know what I mean? It was that kind of way. I'd never fucking heard of Sadistic Executioner either. So anyway, I thought I would give it a bash, and the reason I thought I would give it a bash was in the last couple of years, in fact last year, after we set the website up and everything, there was a couple of albums that came in, one from a band called Coven and one from a band called Morbid Saint, both of which were very early thrash records. Now I remember the Morbid Saint one from back in the day, never had heard it, and it was interesting to hear that and sort of see it. The Coven one was almost a kind of proto-thrash thing. And again, no something I would listen to a lot, but it was really interesting to hear it. There's been quite a few other early thrash ones. The Sanctuary album, Refuge Denied's been re-released. The early Sacred Reich stuff and that, so stuff that was unavailable for a long, long time or very hard to get a hold of. It's coming back as part of this whole new wave of thrash metal thing and everything, and that's been good, and I've really enjoyed a lot of it. So I thought I would give Aggressor the benefit of the fucking doubt, and to be honest, I really wish I'd never bothered Mars. The one saving grace that this album has is, I think there's actually only 250 vinyl copies been made, so very few people have to suffer. They say it's been sort of remastered for the digital age and that. That's a fucking lie.
that was that's what I was saying to you earlier on. I was like that. I understand that bands recorded things in garages and stuff like that in the 80s, but with today's technology, you can polish up pretty much any turd.
Of course you
and
can.
make it sound good.
Except
And you should certainly be able to take out a vinyl scratch.
Yeah.
Because that's what you'll find on track 1. A vinyl fucking scratch. So, this hasn't been remastered off the original fucking tapes or something. Somebody's got a vinyl copy of this fucking thing.
Streamed it to MP3.
Aye. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm pretty sure. I'm not the technical one out of our fucking team, but I'm pretty sure you guys could have probably got rid of a scratch shooting album. They didn't even bother their arse doing that.
it sounded live. When I first listened to
It just sounds dreadful.
it sounded like they recorded it like they had a 4-track, and then they realised they plugged everything in except the drums. They thought, fuck, we'll just have to plug a mic in and just take the whole ambience of the drum kit. And then there's even a track where the bass gets lobbed up, but it's, I don't know, it sounded like, that an advert where there's a cheetah running chasing down a small fat kid, and it's like dun 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 dun. I don't know, do you get those TV programmes down here?
It shows that they show me an open.
But
now on cheetah hunt. Run, fat kid.
Anyway, in terms of the sound, it's not so much thrash metal. It's like a very early kind of speed metal kind of sound. The band I mentioned in the review that it's closest to was a band called Razor, who were a Canadian kind of speed metal band who were really fucking good and very influential back in the day. But the songwriting shit, the musicianship shit. Why the fuck did I give it 1 star? It did not deserve 1 star. I felt kind of fucking bad for them. I think, really, do you know what I mean? They made a big deal out of releasing this again. It's dreadful. Do not fucking waste your money. Not that you'll ever find it.
No.
There's 250 vinyl copies that'll probably sit in some guy's shed.
I see when you said to me the only saving grace is there's 250 vinyl copies. I thought your next sentence was going to be so we can easily hunt them down and destroy them all.
I'm just hoping they're sat in some guy's shed and get whopped in the Australian heat and never see the fucking light of day. It's awful. Like I say, there's a lot of early thrash stuff. Some it's been re-released, some of it's not, and is crying out to be re-released and to be made available again. This is not fucking one of them. I don't know what they were thinking.
I think it's ironic the fact they called it Aggressor, given that that's the sort of third person singular of sort of past historic aggressor. So it's like, 1988. I mean, that's a while ago, And the only positive I get from it is the artwork. The album cover. Did you look at that?
I thought the artwork was dreadful.
It's a really shit Harrier.
Oh,
a jump jet
above some skulls.
Aye, but behind it there's like an apocalyptic explosions went off, and that's what they've chosen to outrun it. A Harrier.
And it looks like it's been done in felt tip.
Aye.
It looks like it's been done on somebody's jotter at school.
Aggressor. The 2 A's come down in points to hold the rest of the word in. The 2 points kind of point to the shite skulls at the bottom. Yeah, it's shit. It's a visual representation of the album.
The more I talk about this, the more I really begrudge that 1 fucking star.
I thought it was a joke because he Dropbox things and said, right, there's your homework, listen to these for the podcast. Like, right, fine. So I listened to the Doom Band, I listened to the other mob, and then got this one. I played it in the car, and I thought there was something wrong with the stereo. So I pulled the car over and I checked the fucking thing, and I put on another song, and it was DOA that I put on, Dead on Arrival, that classic song, and it was just, I don't know the best way. Remember the days when you used to put a tape in a Walkman and then you used to play it out of wee speakers?
Yeah.
That's the production quality. And I couldn't believe that I was hearing this via like an iPad in the car. I just can't do it anymore. So thanks, Dave.
You're welcome. Oh shit.
Thanks for bringing that into my life.
Nothing much more to say on that, really.
Same here. I don't think, like what I says, that anyone will actually go out their way to hear this.
No.
I think that's probably a good thing.
Maybe sadistic executioner fans will find it a worthwhile fucking
because if
oddity.
you don't know the mythology of the band, their drummer used to play in a band called Aggressor. Right, I'm just saying they don't know. That's where that drummer came from.
So that's Aggressor.
Aggressor, yeah.
Check out the review. I'm sure there's a wee track on there as well for you
If you
to
want to
listen
check
to.
out the review, Dave, where would you go?
You would go to the internet
Yeah.
to begin with, and then you would put it,
Magic box in the sky.
and then you would type in www.rockandrollreviews.com.
Oh, nice. As simple as that.
And all those albums we've just discussed and movie are on there in review form.
Like it and share it.
Yes. There's also an interview with Arm for Apocalypse. Read that as well.
Who are they signed to again?
I think it's Candlelight Records.
Candlelight Records.
Candlelight
Never heard of
Records.
them before.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna have to get that little. There'll have to be a little sort of advert for them in the style of Sega. You know, Candlelight.
Yeah, so that's the roundup of 5 stars over the last week. Well, there have been more, but Graham's not here, so he's not here to talk about the other 5 or
I
something.
didn't
that he's
care
done.
about Graham and films.
Talking of which, actually, I would like to fucking point out, after listening to that abomination that was the last podcast, I am not nearly the same age as James fucking Gandolfini. Nowhere close to that age. Just because I'm older than the fucking hairless otter that is Graham does not mean I'm fucking 50 odds.
On the notes of things being said on podcasts, I do believe on the initial 2 weekly podcast, Baz, would please stop referring to me as being dead on the podcast, because I'm getting letters from all over the world saying sorry if you lost, Laura.
I was pointing out that you weren't dead.
For the second time.
A prank that backfired very badly.
I'm no deed. But Graham's not here, but it doesn't matter because he's
he's
a
not.
We talked
pie.
about his 5-star review anyway.
One of them, yes.
Was the other one he gave out?
Volbeat.
Oh, so he did, sorry, aye.
And there's another one as
What,
well.
one a month, every month, aye.
Oh yeah, he was touching himself to that album, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it looked like. And his writing style, you know.
I was going to say.
I wasn't there, I wasn't watching.
Alright, that's fine.
I'd rather listen to Aggressor.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, it's true.
So, on to the next topic of discussion.
Oh, this is so fucking
Your
hard.
favourite movie soundtracks. So I think this is a pretty good topic for discussion because there are a lot of movies out there with a lot of good soundtracks out there.
See, the problem is, are you thinking the film and the soundtrack, or if you're going for a score or a soundtrack? If it's a score, then you kind of go with your gut that is the composer. So I quite like Hans Zimmer, right? So as a composer, so you could throw Dark Knight in there.
Sorry, I'd want him Donkey Cupcake.
There's cupcake orgasms happening all over the shop.
Just for a minute, just everybody be quiet. Let me have this wee moment. Holy fuck, that's amazing. Sorry. Carry on.
Well, that was me thought it was Hans Zimmer that was doing it for you, but no, apparently not. Danny Elfman.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, sort of the original Batman, and then you've got Beetlejuice and all these kind of classic. But I don't know. I think it'd be quite hard to pick a favourite.
Well, if you had to, if I put you on the spot like right now and said, what is your favourite?
I would, if I was really going to go for it, I'd probably say Graham Revell's The Crow,
Ooh.
1993, by Brandon Lee.
It's funny you should mention that because in my top 5, The Crow is in there.
Yeah.
And number 4.
Not in the soundtrack, as in with the Helmet and Pantera songs that feature,
that's
but the
one.
actual score
Oh,
by
yeah,
Graham
I like the
Revell.
score as well, but
But then again, I'm conflicted because I really like dark, moody, string-based stuff. So I really like the sound. I can't remember the guy who did it for The Ring, the modern adaptation of the first Ring.
Oh, yeah,
The music for that is amazing. And probably another favourite of mine is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Wojciech Killa, who did Dracula, Bram Stoker's one, the one with Gary Oldman.
Oh, yeah.
The music for that is
Brilliant
amazing.
as well.
But then, as quickly as I can name 3 stringed films like that, sort of dark mood, I can flip to the other side and go to soundtracks, because Transformers the movie, hands down, is
The
fucking.
cartoon.
Or aye.
Yes.
Or Rocky 4. It's
Rocky
probably
4's on my list as well.
You know,
man.
my list as
It's
well.
on yours, that's what I said. we would
and
be
Bill and
top one.
Ted's Excellent Adventure. And my top 3 soundtracks right there. No, there's no pissing about there whatsoever. That would be it.
I have to say, had you seen Rocky 4 the way I saw Rocky 4, you wouldn't be seeing that. I saw that in a cinema in my hometown of Dunoon, filled with American naval personnel. And when Rocky starts to fight back, they all leapt to their feet and started chanting Rocky at the fucking cinema screen.
And you say you're not the same age as Gandolfini. This is like the 1950s.
Honestly, they chanted Rocky at the fucking screen. Pricks.
We all did. We all did. And we also hoped when the Drago came out of the big beam thing that a Zanussi washing machine was going to land on him and all when he came out the floor. It was great.
Rocky
Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah. What about yourself, Duncan?
Well, Rocky 4.
Rocky IV.
It's funny because I'm playing a computer game at the moment on my PlayStation, Saints 3. It's like a Grand Theft Auto sort of thing, and you can. There's all these different radio stations, and you can pick your favourite songs and make a mixtape. So when you're driving around in your car, you can listen to the mixtape. And there's no easy way out on it.
Oh man.
And it's got to the stage that I've actually looked at like 4 times. So that's what I'm driving at. There's no easy way out. Yeah. There's no shotgun. I'm like, yes! Fucking Rocky! Fucking love it, man. Absolutely love it. Rocky 4. Rocky 4. Recent ones. The Tron soundtrack done by Daft Punk is fucking amazing.
Oh, that's a good one. That.
It's a really, really, really good soundtrack, and
That's a cockstroking moment right there.
it's fucking brilliant.
Not right now, please. Not right now.
Karate Kid soundtrack.
Oh,
What?
good one as well.
Karate Kid soundtrack's also original. No fucking.
All right, okay.
No
Aye,
the Smiths.
original, aye.
The original. Brilliant.
No the Smiths.
No the Smiths.
Big Willie, he gets a mention at every podcast, doesn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. Aye. There you go. That cuts down what I was going to say.
Sorry.
Recently, the Social Network soundtrack. Trent Reznor. Surprise.
Obviously.
Surprise.
Trent
surprise.
Reznor.
Included California to Brills with the dead Kennedys. It can never be a bad thing.
There you go. Oh man, throwing in facts here, just dropping them, boom, like they're hot. My favourite one, and this is likely to annoy Baz slightly. Not because I don't think you like the soundtrack. I'll be surprised if you listen to the soundtrack, but because I know you don't like the film. But the Vangelis score to Blade Runner is hands down one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in my entire life. Scored, it's phenomenal, and it sits really well with that film. And whenever I listen to it, I think of futuristic cities and vehicles in the sky and all the rest. I absolutely love it. It's my
As you stare at your window at the Grangemouth oil refinery.
That's my favourite scored soundtrack by far. My favourite soundtrack in terms of mixtures of scores and songs and all the rest is Rocky 4. It just. I listen to that at the gym, man. You do. You feel like you can fucking knock out a giant Russian after it.
Fucking James Brown's on it, you know what I mean?
James Brown. Any soundtrack that has fucking Soul Brother #1, The Godfather of Funk, any album that has that is, boom, as Baz would say.
Baz?
Well, now I'm not going to go into the whole score thing and that. I'm not into films enough to comment on that. But I used to like a lot. I used to have a lot of soundtracks back in the day. I think there's probably 3 that stand out for me. The first is Blues Brothers soundtrack. Oh, fucking just immense film, immense soundtrack. You can, and you've got guys like Cab Calloway and all that on it. It's like what you're saying about James Brown. Guys like that on it can't fucking fail. Another one that was a huge favourite of mine was the Lost Boys soundtrack, and I actually thought you were going to fucking say the Lost Boys.
And the only
There we
The
go.
only reason I didn't is because I was trying to scroll down the amount of 80s fucking soundtracks. Honestly, in the space of like 5 years, pretty much every 80s film that I watched in those 5 years has amazing soundtracks. I think the emphasis back then was, see, when they did the soundtracks, they were getting artists that actually really wanted to do.
Yeah.
But see, nowadays, like fucking the Twilight films come out and fucking Paramore's on the soundtrack, but it's not written for.
Oh yeah, Linkin Park with Transformers.
Those songs are not written for the film. Those songs are written for an album and taken for the film.
Yeah.
Where bands in the past wrote songs for the film. There was the film's called Lost Boys. We want, and they would go away and they would write fucking songs inspired by. They would see the film and then go and write songs.
Yeah.
That's fucking real. That's how it should be. It shouldn't be. Oh well, you're a big band at the moment, Mr. Linkin Park. You've got a new album coming out. Can we get one of your songs to promote? Not a problem. Could we maybe use it in a music video? Oh, brilliant! Boom. It's lazy as fuck.
Well,
Sorry.
moving on.
Good.
No, I absolutely love the Lost Boys soundtrack, and interestingly enough, I've not heard it in years. I had that on cassette, and I'd lent it to my pal Kate, and her car got broken into, and they stole all her cassettes out the car.
Son of a bitch.
And my Lost Boys soundtrack. So I'd gone on to look to buy that just when the
If they hadn't
came
nicked that,
through.
they deserve a hiding.
And true. And it's very hard to get nowadays, the Lost Boys soundtrack. They're reissuing Aggressor, but will not reissue the fucking Lost Boys soundtrack. Tricks. Somebody's missing a trick there.
Yep.
My third one, and this is coming to left field a wee bit.
Left field.
Soundtrack was by Ry Cooder, and the film was called Crossroads.
Oh!
Remember?
You bit Ralph.
Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio.
Has a
Now,
playoff
interesting
vibe.
fact, Interesting fact about Ralph Macchio, had a hormonal disorder
right,
that meant that he aged very, very little. First wife left him over it. I think that's what Graham's got. I think that's why Graham's a hairless and he looks like he's 12. Do you hear me, Graham? This is what happens when you cross the Baz in the podcast, son.
That I think Baz has just drawn second blood. That's a reference to the previous podcast. But what I'm saying is, I think that Baz and Graham, I said this before the podcast started, I think they are actually Jekyll and Hyde. I think they're the same person. That's why they're never on the same podcast. And
Like Michael and Latoya.
yes,
Right.
That's exactly what they both take that kind of play school mentality that if you hate on someone enough because you like them, people think you hate them. I think that's what it is. And also, I also want to go with that Graham can't grow a beard. Baz has a mighty fine beard. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
True.
The only people that
Same
can't grow
fucking
beards are women. Sorry, Graham.
People with hormonal disorders.
Like Ralph Macchio and Graham.
Graham Humphreys.
So,
The Crossroads soundtrack.
Yeah.
I loved that back in the day.
Forgot
I had
about that,
that. Probably still got the tape kicking about some
See,
of off.
why would you go and throw that in there? Because now I'm thinking of Roadhouse.
Oh!
Great soundtrack.
Yes! Yes, it is.
The Jeff Healey band.
Jeff Healey.
You know, he plays pretty good for a blind white boy.
Indeed he does.
And I thought you would be bigger.
So that's my three.
Right, Dave, give us it.
Excellent. A couple of mine's already been mentioned. Rocky 4 is in my list as well. And The Lost Boys. Fucking love this.
Nobody mentioned Top Gun.
No?
Nah.
Ghostbusters? Elmer Bernstein? No?
The other one I liked was, of recent, was the Drive soundtrack.
Drive soundtrack's amazing.
Ryan Gosling film.
Absolutely amazing. We're throwing it in there. The soundtrack to the remake horror film, which I'll be reviewing shortly, which is my favourite film this year, Maniac, is fucking brilliant. If you like 80s synth and synthesizers, played loud as fuck and really weird combinations. Fucking amazing.
Well, on the horror
Maniac!
on the horror front then, James Horner, Aliens.
Aliens. Oh, what a soundtrack. Alien, you've watched it now, haven't you?
No. So the Drive soundtrack of recent, I think that's probably my favourite over the last 2 or 3 years. Drive.
It's got a really, it's just a really well.
The other one, which I know everyone's going to hate, is actually the soundtrack for the film Rockstar, starring Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, no, actually, I don't dislike that. And the reason I don't
The kind of
dislike
Judas
that,
Priest thing.
yeah, but the reason I don't dislike that,
You've changed, man.
no.
One of my favourite films.
The reason I don't dislike that is because the musicians that write on that album, recording that album, were actually metal musicians.
And they did it for the film rather than
so you've
fucking
actually
just
got metal musicians almost creating a fake band.
fucking Zach Wilde's on it, man.
Aye, Zach Wilde.
Big Zachy boy.
That's good. It's cheesy.
I haven't even covered off
But
the-
then the music's cheesy as fuck.
Oh,
But
it's cheesy 80s metal.
Do you like that, but you don't like Star Wars?
Oh, Star Wars sucks, man.
Oh!
Fuck
No!
your Star Wars.
Enough!
John Williams.
Move on.
John Williams, Indiana Jones, Star Wars,
No.
Superman.
Jaws what?
Jaws.
Jaws.
Funnily enough, none of us, absolutely none of us, picked anything that was in the top 10 best-selling soundtracks of all time.
That would
Really?
not surprise me. If
What, where did you-
Titanic's number one.
That's what I was thinking.
Well,
Titanic.
Because-
I've got the top 10 right here, boys.
Let's
All
hear
right.
it.
From 10 to 1.
Okay.
God damn.
Number 10 is Footloose.
That's a good soundtrack.
Footloose. I'm talking about, obviously, Kevin Bacon, the original.
No, that gay other stuff.
Let's not talk about that.
No, it's
Number 9, The Lion King.
Oh, fuck.
Once again, I can see why that's. There could be a CD coming out after this. Mikey's rendition of the soundtrack.
Yeah, you've got to sing something from each soundtrack. Mikey.
I better hope I know them all then.
Number 8.
Oh, sorry.
You jumped the gun. Number 8, Forrest Gump.
I can't think of a song off the
What's that? Fucking hell.
Is it the score or the soundtrack? I mean,
It had Sweet Home Alabama.
I
Yeah,
would
it's got Sweet Home
Freebird was
Alabama.
never say that out in public.
Freebird.
Leonard Skinner. So, did Leonard Skinner just...
And other stuff, aye.
So basically, what you're saying is that the Forrest Gump album is the greatest driving album ever.
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay. Dad's #1 hits.
Number 7, you mentioned it earlier, Top Gun.
Yeah. Fucking makes. I actually challenge anyone, and on listening to this podcast as well, that anybody that has a sunroof, a manual sunroof in their car, or even an electric one, put on Top Gear, Top Gun, Danger Zone, and then get up to about 80, 95 mile an hour on the motorway, then open the sunroof, and it sounds exactly like your afterburner's going off.
Oh yeah. In there, I just remember, since I don't know why I didn't think about this before. Top Gun, right? Which I'm not a big fan of Top Gun, but Iron Eagle. Did anyone?
Oh, I would.
Iron Eagle. Yeah.
Lou Gossett Jr.
The soundtrack in that's fucking amazing. The guy has a.
It's got Queen.
He has a wee cassette player and he shoves it in his fucking.
Actually, because of that film,
Chappie dies. This was for you, Chappie.
He had it strapped to his thigh.
That's right.
You know, it was the first time that I think Steve Jobs nicked the idea from Iron Eagle. You know, when people started putting iPod Nanos in their arm for jogging? Fucking wee boy in Iron Eagle did it first.
He did it
on his thigh with his head.
in the 1980s.
Yeah,
Woo! I get slagged off for being the old cunt in this operation as well, do you know what I mean?
Days?
I don't even remember that.
Iron Eagle.
I remember it vaguely, but...
Well, when Iron Eagle came out, you'd have been at high school.
It was like, let me put it this way, it's basically, it's Rocky 3, not Rocky 3, Rambo 3 for kids. It's essentially what it is. His dad gets captured in some Iraqi base. He and his group of friends
I'll tell you what it's
somehow
not.
managed to pilot fucking fighter aircraft in the space of a couple of weeks and then go out and save them.
I'll tell you what it's not like. Bill and Ted. So it's somewhere between Bill and Ted and... What did you just say?
Rambo 3.
Rambo
That's
3.
exactly what it is. It's if you married the two ideas together.
Exactly. There we go.
Right,
Right,
it's the phone book.
Number 6, Purple Rain. Yeah.
Just got a text message through there. I just advised Graham that Baz was attacking his character. To which he has replied, "This is live. This is live right now."
Live.
He's went. There you go. That's the best one to be. Fuck that guy, man. Old bastard. There you go. Thanks, Graham. Thanks for writing in.
Thank you, Graham.
All opinions welcome.
Yeah, so that was 6, Purple Rain, a wee bit of Prince. I don't know if I've actually seen that film.
Purple Rains.
It's a dreadful...
Yeah, it's an awful film.
The
The
soundtrack's
soundtrack's brilliant, but
I've got a
the
million times
fucking
better than the
film's
film.
dreadful.
Is it true that he removed his ribs for giving himself his own blowjobs? Is that true, or is that just a rumour?
I think that's a rumour.
I
I
think
thought that was Marilyn Manson.
No, it's definitely not. I know the same rumour got flung around.
I think it's on the similar par as Richard Gere with hamsters up his bumhole.
Oh, right. Never heard that one,
I don't think it really had, but just somebody didn't like them.
Sorry. Anyway, number 5.
So many fucking. He's such a small, diminutive guy. I'm pretty sure unless his cock's tiny, I'm pretty sure if he wanted to suck it, he could get it. I've seen him dance on stage. He can bend in places that are not normal, and I don't
But he's
think
not got any
because I don't think that's because he had 2 bottom ribs. removed.
Similarly, we've never seen Prince and Madonna in the same place.
Oh, there we go.
I think they're one and the same.
You heard it here first.
Oh yeah.
Number 5, looking forward to hearing you singing this. Grease.
Oh, I get chills, man. They're multiplying, I tell you what.
Yeah, but you got a little bit
These
of
are not
Travolta.
surprising.
Fuck
to be
Grease,
honest.
man.
Travolta?
Fuck Travolta.
Oh, come on.
No. See, the Grease only got good when they did the second one, and Michelle Pfeiffer in leather.
The second one?
Aye. You don't know about the second one?
I've seen the second one.
Aye.
I mean,
Michelle
I've heard of
Pfeiffer.
the second one. Haven't seen it.
Didn't have
I've
to.
seen the first one. I've never seen the second one. I've seen
Oh.
the first one once.
Terrible.
I watched it on the telly all the time.
Shite.
Terrible. The guy who played Johnny Zuko or whatever his name is in the second one.
Danny
Terrible.
Zuko.
Danny Zuko.
Johnny Zuko.
John Travolta, Danny, you know I got mixed up there. He was terrible. Fuck him. Fuck that guy. Anyway, number 4, Titanic.
Nah.
Not number 1, as we thought.
I thought it would be because it's.
Gay.
Beautiful wherever you are.
There's a little competition breaking
There was a room for the pair of them!
That surprises me because I think that single is probably, is that not the longest number 1 in this country ever? I'm
No,
assuming
that
it
was
must be.
fucking Brian Adams.
Brian
Was
Adams.
it-
that's right.
Did Titanic
Robin
not
Hood.
beat?
No.
Well, that must be up there then. No?
It's not even in there.
Oh!
Well, see,
Interestingly, out of the 18,000 tracks on my iPod, if I have this weird autistic thing that if I'm listening to my pod and shuffle, I have to listen to whatever comes on. The only song I am allowed to skip is that fucking Robin Hood thing by Bryan Adams when it comes on. There you go. Because I have the greatest hits of Bryan Adams on my iPod.
Delete it.
No! You don't get my Asperger's thing. It doesn't happen. Move on, let it go. Number 2.
Asperger's, he's got it all.
Yeah. No, number 3.
Number 3.
Oh, sorry.
You jumped the gun as well. Number 3 brings a wee tear to my eye.
Watch it down.
The Swayze Dirty Dancing.
Oh, fuck off, man. A film about a paedophile. I'm fucking having that is just fucking outrageous.
The guy's dead. Have a bit of
I
respect.
fucking hope so. Otherwise, burying him was a really bad idea.
Didn't
Is what I mean.
he play a paedophile in Donnie Darko as well?
Pretty much.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't think it was, widely known that he was a paedophile in Dirty Dancing. It wasn't in the film. As if you know.
Well, I hope not.
You know.
That'd be a whole
Yeah.
different.
Well, nobody got it. You put babies in the corner. What the fuck's all that about? There's something wrong with that.
Anyway,
Dancing.
number 2, Big Travolta's back at number 2. Saturday Night Fever.
Once again, doesn't surprise me. So far, Titanic surprised me a wee bit at number 4, but that doesn't surprise me. Once again, that's an old film as well, so that's had fucking years to sell albums.
Number 1. Anyone want to take a guess at number 1?
Right, fucking.
You have one guess each.
Number 1.
And we've not mentioned it.
Nope.
Number 1 soundtrack.
Of all
Mamma
time.
Mia.
No.
Jungle Book.
No.
Give me, is that a cartoon or a film?
It's a film.
It's a film.
Surprising. A little surprising. I mean, my wife owns it.
Annie.
No.
Pretty Woman.
No. But she did say that. Well, I was talking
Pretty
about
Woman,
it.
aye, that's a
I was
good-
talking about it last night, and she
You
said
got to
Pretty
think
Woman,
about the
but
chips.
no.
What do the
Number
chips
1.
like?
Number 1. Kevin Costner, The Bodyguard.
It surprised me though. That doesn't. That single was, how long was that single in it? You know the. Sorry.
The same length of time that she was under the bathwater when they found her.
So there you have it. The top 10 best-selling soundtracks of all time.
None of them were as good as yours.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
none of us were in the top 10.
Exactly.
But that just goes to show that we're not mainstream, which doesn't surprise me for an alternative reviewing site. So there we go.
Well, I suppose everybody's got their different reason for listening to a soundtrack. For all of those are soundtracks rather than scores. If it was scores, I reckon that list would be completely different.
Oh God, aye.
Yeah.
God, aye. I reckon we probably see maybe 3 composers in general in the top 10.
Aye.
Just with multiples.
Yeah.
Pretty
So,
much.
so that was your movie soundtracks. Pretty
There
cool.
we go. Davey throwing curveballs. I wonder what the, and the next big podcast I want
Oh.
to throw in there.
Soap operas?
Soap operas.
I don't know.
Top 5 childhood films. That would be amazing.
Oh, that's a
We
good
should
one.
just dedicate an hour to that.
Nah,
We would just
he's
gush.
going to say something about Star Wars and I'm going to boot his boys.
Because we can only talk about films that we grew up watching. We can't slag other people who are watching awesome films
Yeah, so-
like Star Wars.
Well, exactly. So when it comes to your childhood films, well,
Fuck off,
That Chaplin one. That Chaplin one when he plays Hitler. And we're going with my favourite, you see that?
Oh, Buster Keaton on the moving pictures.
2 and 6, bag of chips, Coca Sweets.
Hey, I'm normally the old one in the group, so I relish the fact that you're older than me. It's great.
Yes.
It's not normally me.
Just throwing that as a possible idea. Maybe not top 5, top 2 or top 3, but I think
Favourite childhood films?
yeah, films you grew up watching your child.
Alright. Maybe come on the next podcast.
Which means the ball Start a Facebook campaign. If you listen to this right now, I want you to make a comment on the Facebook page that says, Dave, for the next podcast, what we want is top 2 or 3 films that you grew up watching.
Or you could
Nice
do
and snappy.
Yeah, something better put than that. Something a bit more eloquent.
top 5 things about Duncan.
I would be lucky if you get 5. Lucky
Top
you
10 things we didn't like about Duncan.
Top 3 people with hormonal issues.
Well, we've got
Graham will be
and Graham. We do the new. Just need one more.
Who else is hairless?
It's got to be somebody.
Aye.
Is Graham got any brothers or sisters?
He has a sister. Well, let's maybe not go down this road.
Yeah.
Sorry, Graham.
Send us a photo of your sister.
Preferably bald.
Anyway, final part of the podcast is just a little brief discussion on some upcoming albums and movies that we're looking forward to. The first one on the list is a band that I really like. They're called Carnival, and they have a new album coming out called Asymmetry on July 23rd, so next week actually.
Is it next week?
Is it next week? 23rd? Next week?
Yeah. Fantastic.
No. A week.
Following week.
Following week, aye. 23rd. So, I loved the last two albums, it blew me away. Sound Awake was the last one, it was really good. Saw them live at King Tut's in Glasgow, blew the fucking roof off the place.
They're playing Glasgow fairly soon.
They're playing with Tesseract.
We're hoping.
Stuart for Work's going, I think.
What was it?
Yeah.
Carnival?
We're maybe trying to try and.
Yeah, they're. I don't know if there's a co-headliner with Tesseract in November, I think it is. At the Glasgow Garage. So yeah, I think we're going to see that. They've released a couple of tracks on YouTube of the new album, from the new album.
It's funny this because me and Mikey are both fans of the band, but
Yeah.
we have completely different opinions about their new kind of sound. Whereas you kind of like when they were doing the more of the orchestral.
The first album was
huge
amazing.
sound. Thematta is to me is
The
the
second
best
album was alright. The
Um,
third album was just me.
I quite like. I don't know if it's because my taste has changed and I'm kind of going for the new stuff they posted up is very stripped back.
Yeah.
And I just find that completely interesting and engaging straight away.
Well,
but
that's
it's
what-
not that I don't like the
Aye.
huge Thematta as an album. When you listen to some of the songs on that, it sound fucking huge.
But we've just went the opposite ways. I'm
Yeah.
liking the clinical sound of music now, where you can pick out everything, and you're
Yeah.
kind of going the other way for that kind of raw.
Yeah, and
state.
the new stuff does sound. It sounds deliberately as if they've stripped out, and I don't know if that's because I think the
But
band's
if you listen to like Thematta and Sound Awake, they both sound different.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me this third album or this next album is going to sound different again to the last two. I think it's probably just their style. You know what I mean? Want to keep it fresh.
It's fair because you'll have a fan base following from the first album, there'll be a fan base for the second, and now they'll probably pull in more fans for this album who won't particularly like maybe their first two. You know, so
Yeah.
It's been a long time since that first album as well.
So business wise,
Yeah.
it's probably a good move.
So that's out pretty soon. Actually, the tracks I've heard I quite like, but it's difficult to tell what it's going to sound like within
Context, within an album.
the album. Which brings me on to the next album on the list, which is the new album from Misery Signals. It is also due out 23rd of July. It's called Absent Light, and it's a kind of similar idea with it. With the Misery Signals one, they've released 2 tracks on YouTube and stuff as well from the new album, and I wasn't that sure about it when I heard the 2 tracks. I thought, it sounds alright, but we've actually had the album through from the PR company, and within the context of the album, it is absolutely fucking awesome. This is out on Basic Records, as I said, in a couple of weeks or a week and a bit.
I like Basic Records.
We do like Basic
We
Records.
do like Basic.
This is a really good album. I wasn't a huge fan of their last 2, or it wasn't the bad albums, but they had their moments. Mirrors and Controller were the last 2. The album before that, Malice of the Magnum Heart, I loved that album. Thought it was amazing. And this album kind of brings in the stuff from that album and a kind of mixture of the last album, Controller, as well. So definitely looking forward to that. What about yourselves? You guys Misery Signals fan?
I remember the first album, but I don't remember listening to anything after the first album.
Right.
I quite liked what I heard. So if you're saying that it's like a combination of the
Yeah.
kind of newer sound and the older sound as
Yeah.
well, I'll be down with that. I need to check it out though.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with their stuff at all.
No. Really good, like.
I'll give it a listen though on your say-sos.
Yeah. Definitely check it out. That's coming soon. Next one is, I'm going to pass over to my man Baz because I don't know much about this next guy. Out the same week as well. Full album's coming out 22nd, 23rd of July.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. It's the new album for Grant Hart. For those that don't know, Grant Hart was the drummer and one of the songwriters in Husker Du. After Husker Du split up, he released a very good solo album called Intolerance, and then went on to form a band called Nova Mob, who released a couple of very good albums. And he's done some solo stuff since. This album, the argument is and this sounds really fucking wanky, but bear with me, it's a musical interpretation of Milton's Paradise Lost.
Alright.
Now, he played Glasgow about a year and a half ago, I think, and he was in the process of putting this together at that time, and I had seen that he was playing, and my mate Stuart, that I mentioned a minute ago for work, Stuart's another Husker Du fanatic kind of thing, and I had said to him, well, listen, Grant Hart, he was playing in Mono, which is the little kind of cafe bar thing in Glasgow. And when I told Stuart that it was this Paradise Lost thing, he actually said, I'm not going to bother going, I don't want to go
this before,
and kind of be disappointed and if it's some pretentious wanky shit. He played 2 songs off it and then basically said, what do you want to hear, and played a set of fucking greatest hits after that. It was a phenomenal gig. But the 2 songs that he did play from that were actually very good. It's very kind of classic Grant Hart, electric guitar stuff. So I'm really excited to hear it. I won't get the whole fucking theme behind it, do you know what I mean? I'm just going to listen and approach it as a Grant Hart album, and I'm pretty excited to hear it, actually, got to say. So that's out 23rd, I think.
I think a few bands have tried interpretations of that text, and none of them sound even remotely similar, so it could be hard.
Yeah, look forward to it.
So that's upcoming pretty soon.
Sorry, the album's called The Argument, I should have mentioned.
Argument. Next one I stuck in here because Duncan's such a big fan. That's not due out to September, but the new 9 Inch Nails album.
Yeah.
Hesitation Marks.
What to say? Put the band to bed about 5 years ago now.
Really?
It's about as long as that now. 4 years ago. It was just coming out 2009. And essentially, you know how these guys say, we're never doing this again, you know, it's all over, but then later on they say, well, actually what we said was, and that's pretty much what he's done. He said that if he ever did 9 Inch Nails again, it would be a completely different imagining of the band in terms of how they would do things live and how the songs would be written. The whole idea would be different. Now, he's obviously the main guy. It's him that writes the music and he gets guys in to collaborate with him. That's Trent Reznor, that is. He went off and he got married. He formed a band with his wife and 2 guys who basically had been long-time collaborators with 9 Inch Nails. And basically what we got was How to Destroy Angels, and what they did was they released an EP which I really enjoyed, really thought was a good EP, kind of was a natural progression on from 9 Inch Nails, less aggressive though, female vocals very good, and then he took ages to release that album, which he did last year, and I got a chance to listen to it, well in fact it was this year. He released another EP last year and released the album this year, and I listened to it finally and I was very excited, and I thought it was not very good. I thought there was a lot of kind of pretentious sort of electronic wankery going on. It was just not what I was expecting from him at all. And I pretty much said in my review of it that as soon as the album, in fact 3 weeks before the album came out, he'd already said 9 Inch Nails were coming back to do live shows, which was like a big thing. You mentioned albums or that, and my point to you was I wouldn't be surprised if, I think I wrote in my review as well, wouldn't be surprised if this is a precursor for a 9 Inch Nails album, and what he's done is he started doing the How to Destroy Angels thing, and it's built up to a certain point, he's lost interest, he's decided, nah, I really want to do 9 Inch Nails again, so he's kind of fudged through an album really quickly, and that's why it sounds like lesser material. And saying that though, I managed to get a chance to see the full performance at the Coachella Festival, which was their debut festival. It fucking blew me away. How to Destroy Angels set of that was absolutely amazing, but it was a full light show, everything was done, very similar to what he did in his last tour, looked fucking amazing. But that's my issue with that. It's an audio-visual thing, it needs to be together or you don't get it. You just get the lights, it doesn't make any sense. If you just get the music, it doesn't make any sense. When they're put together, it's fucking awesome. He's coming back with a new album which he's apparently been working on for a year. He's announced the guys that are playing on the album. Some of the guys from the original one are back. So the drummer guy,
The Lost Prophets guy?
yeah, the former Lost Prophets drummer, he's coming back to play drums on the album. They had the bassist from Eric Avery from Jane's Addiction. Played on he was playing on it, but he's pulled out again. So so he's been replaced by, and I can't remember the name of the guy. So an older musician, and Robin Fink, who's a long-term. He goes right back to the Downward Spiral days. Guitarist is in the band as well. But they're doing tours, and they've said that it's basically going to take off from where the Lights in the Sky tour finished off, which was all very visual as well. And I think that's basically what he wants to do now. Released a single's very good, very electronic, in a similar vein to the last album, like Slip. very much electronic, not much heaviness on it. I think the day for Trent Reznor being heavy is past. I don't really want to hear him try to be aggressive and angsty and stuff like that. I mean, he's 46 or 47 now. He's got 2 kids. He's married. He doesn't really. He's been off drugs for over a decade and all the rest. He's not really got anything to be angry about as such. So I would like to hear him write some more of the kind of quieter electronic moments he puts in his albums, because those are the ones that connect with me. He's a fucking excellent musician. My favourite musician.
Yeah.
So it is an absolute cannot wait album.
Yeah.
And a wee surprise one for me, because at the beginning of the year I didn't know it was coming out. So
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's coming out on September 3rd, we think, is the rough estimated release date.
There's been no other. It's funny because he's now back on a record label.
Oh, right.
So I'll be released through Columbia Records after his spectacular departure from Interscope, where he famously publicly stood on the Australian bandstage at a festival and he played it one year and asked them how much his new album was, and they told him it was $19, and he was fucking outraged by that. And he said, just keep getting on at the record label, that you're not happy with this. And then he came back the following year, and it's on YouTube if you check it out. He's standing on stage and he goes to that, he goes, last time I was down here, when the album was like $19 or $20, has that changed at all? And people are like, no, and he goes, well, you know what you have to do? Steal the fucking songs, go online and steal away, steal my music, because it's the only way the fucking record label will learn to stop ripping off the fans. And then he spectacularly left the record label after that. But yeah, no, that's an exciting one for me. I don't know if it's an exciting one for anyone else.
Nah.
Probably not. You're either a Nine Inch Nails fan or you're not.
Yeah.
My missus likes Nine Inch Nails. We've got the back catalogue there. I've never listened to it. I was only aroused by one song, and that was Burn, when they did it for
Natural Born
Killers.
soundtrack, yeah.
I quite like that, but then my wife
He's on
says,
the Crow soundtrack as well.
yeah, she just said that you're probably not giving them a chance. You know, if you like that one,
I think you need to approach it. It's funny because a lot of people say that their best album is Downward Spiral. I would argue tooth and nail that it's not. The best album is The Fragile. It's a double album, came out in 1999. It's the most underrated album they've ever released. It's fucking phenomenal. It's the only double album I've ever listened to that has no fillers on it at all. It's brilliant.
I get introduced to them as the kind of very early 90s. I had a friend that went away to the States to study on like a swimming scholarship, one of these sports scholarships, Peter. And when he came back after his first year, he came back for the summer, and he brought back a cassette, like a copy of Pretty Hate Machine.
Yeah.
And we all get into it over that summer because we'd never heard anything like it. It was the first industrial type music, and it wasn't heavy, full on heavy industrial at that point, but we'd never heard anything like it. I fucking loved that album, and I've never heard anything other than that album. I've never listened to anything after that, and not through choice, I just never have, kind of thing.
He went, that album is kind of Euro pop, sort of industrial sort of sounding. Everything that come after, the rest of these 90s were spent fueled on drugs, angry as fuck, and all that stuff is fairly visceral. But yeah, he's went right through the spectrum of music now. He's a bit older now, like I say. It'll be interesting because if this album doesn't do well, I wouldn't be surprised if that's his exit. He does this and then properly puts things down and goes back to doing. And he's had an Oscar for the Social Network soundtrack, like I said before. He's done scores for computer games. A recent one I think was either Call of Duty or Modern Warfare. He did the whole soundtrack for it. So he's a busy guy. So it'll be interesting.
Cool.
So what we learned from that one is that Duncan's gay for Trent Reznor.
Basically.
Right, much, right?
Yeah. So moving on from that. Last album on here I've just stuck on just at the end. It's the new Carcass album. I don't know if any of you are Carcass fans,
Carcass.
but it's called Surgical Steel. We reckon it's around about September 16th, and it's going to be on Nuclear Blast. And this is their first album since 1996.
Is it as long as that?
Yep.
It's quite the hiatus.
Yeah.
I think we Paul that writes on the website now. I think he's a big Carcass fan.
He's already claimed it, yes.
Oh, has he?
They haven't stopped touring and things. They've still been touring and playing.
I don't know. I've no idea.
Carcass,
I haven't seen them tour for a while. Did they not do I think they did a big festival
yeah, I don't remember them.
recently or last year.
Right.
But yeah, this is their first kind of studio album since
It's
1996.
not a Carcass Cannibal Corpse kind of thing happening.
I thought they toured together. I might be wrong. about that. I don't know.
Not really, man.
They released a little teaser, which we posted on our Facebook site, and it sounds pretty fucking awesome.
Did it?
Yeah,
Cool.
can't wait to hear it. production wise, it sounds tight. Really good, So Paul's going to be reviewing that. He has already emailed me and asked if it comes in, can he review it?
I'm interested to see how dated that sounds overall, because if they've obviously been at a particular stage of death metal. Death metal doesn't sound like that now.
Yeah.
If you've not released albums since '96, I'm interested to see where you're sitting at almost
Aye.
over a 15-year hiatus.
Aye.
How that will sound, because death metal sounds nothing like it did in the 90s.
They weren't. I don't know if they were out and out death metal though. They weren't like as heavy as like Cannibal Corpse or anything
Or
like
Morbid
that.
Angel, no, they weren't.
They were slightly lighter. They've got more of a kind of the wee teaser thing was quite thrashy actually.
Cool.
So we'll wait and see. But we should be getting that through pretty soon, hopefully, from Nuclear Blast, and we can.
And
check it
Paul stole it.
Yes.
And that Paul, I'll tell you.
So that's just a bunch of albums. Very quickly, we've got a few films on here that are due out kind of in the next month or so. The first one is The Wolverine, which I know will excite Mikey and Baz probably, which is
Got
due.
to say very quickly, and you want Mikey to talk about the Wolverine movie.
Kind of quickly, yeah.
No. Actually, out of on comic base, I'm not actually looking forward to it.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm not. Only because I've been burned in the past before with Bryan Singer and X-Men and the Wolverine Origins that we don't talk about, obviously, for obvious reasons. But I'm a bit cagey about how this is all going to work, because the way I'm looking at it is the Wolverine will it be a film about a character in itself. It's how it fits into the Marvel comic universe as a whole, because obviously they're doing future days, Days of Future Past. Sorry, the X-Men, which is coming, and he's supposed to right a lot of wrongs from previous films, and Wolverine's got to fit in amongst all. So I'd be interested to see how it works. But the fact that it's going to his roots in Japan and
that's what's the trailer. I mean, I'm not being excited about this at all. I saw the trailer yesterday, and there were samurais and Japanese women running about the place, and I was like, so.
For me, he's not one of those kind of superheroes. He's not really. He's like an anti-hero, really, in a sort of way. Wolverine. I mean, he's quite cool in a lot of respects, but I'm not really a big fan of Wolverine. I do like the X-Men as a whole, because that's kind of like an ensemble cast, kind of Avengers. There's a lot of like quirky characters, but Wolverine on his own is. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it as a film, but I don't know. I've been let down already this year.
The film, as Mikey says, it goes back into his origins, but the time spent in Japan, and there was quite a lot of Japanese storylines in Wolverine in the comics. And I actually, when I saw this was in the agenda and I knew Mikey would be talking about it, I went and I downloaded a couple. The original Wolverine limited series, which was like his own little series, and ran for 5 issues in 1982, that was set in Japan. And I think it will be based loosely around some of the events that took place in that. And going back and rereading that now, I found it very, very dated. There actually wasn't an awful lot in that limited series at the start. And the Japanese stuff didn't appeal to me hugely, even when I was heavy into my comics. I think the Silver Samurai is appearing in it, is that right?
Aye.
Don't know how that'll come off either.
It's just the timeline that's bothering me though. Is the initial, they show you I'm assuming it's the whole blast, the Hiroshima.
That's the Logan mini-series, and that's funny because that was the other thing I downloaded, was this one called Logan. I've been away from comics for years, and the thing with Wolverine's character, when I was heavy into it, a lot of the storylines you were reading never actually took place. His memories had been altered by the project that had worked on him to turn him into Weapon X.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff you read about Wolverine turned out never to have happened. It had been kind of implanted in his head.
Yeah.
And when that grows fucking arms and legs, that starts to piss me off.
Yeah.
But I've then discovered since then all of that has been erased and he has his proper memories back, and one of them was this little 3-issue limited series called Logan, which sees him in Japan during the war as a Canadian soldier, and he hooks up with this other American kind of POW, and he meets this girl, and it turns out it's in Hiroshima, and they're both there at ground zero at Hiroshima of thing. Whether or not that's involved in it, I don't know.
Certainly the trailer implies that the bomb goes off.
Oh, did it? Right.
Yes, the bomb goes off in the background. He grabs a guy and they fall down the well, and he covers him.
Right.
The guy ends up
And then
with
it comes to the
radiation
future
scar.
where he's looking for a kind of reconciliation. He can offer him something, a sort of thank you for saving his life, kind of thing. So,
but what he wants is from what I gather from the trailer, he wants his ability to self-regenerate.
Yeah, see, I think
which will
that will
remove
be
it from-
almost the Shingen character from the original limited series, Mariko's father.
right, okay,
I think they'll have kind of merged these two storylines.
right. So this is them sort of making the origins go away. Then
Aye.
that stupid film.
Yeah.
Where he's
It looks darker than Wolverine Origins, which to me appeals to me. I tend to like darker superhero.
Yeah.
sort of films now. So I think there's potential there. I know that you said, Dave, did you not say that Mikey's coming on?
Yeah, I'm
You're
doing the
coming on
podcast on the August one.
fortnightly podcast on the release, and I'll go and see it as well, and we can have a wee discussion about it, because I think
Although I'd quite like his insight on this one as well.
you
Actually.
should join in then.
Yeah.
You should,
Because I
Maybe
don't-
give me a shout when you're going. I'll maybe try and get to the cinema with you.
yeah,
Just on the basis of having.
Oh, hold on, I'm actually getting married at the start of August. I'm not going to make any promises. I'm going to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cinema with you, by the way.
It's all your wedding, calm down. It's nothing important. For fuck's sake, listen to him go, eh?
Oh God,
So-
she better not listen to this.
Wedding, Wolverine, they sound the same, you know.
Yeah, so that's due out. Is it? I've got 24th, 25th of July. Is that about right? Or is it-
Aye, because I'm off that week, the last 3 days of that week, so I was going to try and come down and see it.
Right.
So aye,
Yeah.
I think it's right.
Around about that
24th,
time.
25th.
Cool. So we've got that one to look forward to. The other one, which I'm quite looking forward to myself, is the new one starring Matt Damon. Elysium. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. Or it might be Elysium. Don't know.
It's
It's
Elysium.
Elysium. Okay, that's fine.
Like the first time, big man.
Thank you. It's directed by the same guy that did District 9.
yes.
Neil Blomkamp or something his name is. And the trailer for this looks
Looks
fucking awesome.
Once again, surprised that you're interested in this one, because this is sci-fi fantasy at its
It
finest.
is sci-fi, but I love District 9. So
I have no idea what's that about.
Essentially, it's a story we're all familiar with, where basically it's not too dissimilar to what the kind of things they tackled in District 9. Basically, you have
there's,
it's like a space
Space
station,
station, yeah.
which is paradise.
called
It's set in the year 2154, where the very wealthy live on a man-made space station, while the rest of the population resides on a ruined Earth, and a man takes on a mission that could bring equality to the polarised worlds.
God, that does sound like District 9, doesn't it?
It's very, very similar. It's just on a grander scale. It looks visually, it looks beautiful. And from the action clips I saw as well, it looks. But District 9 was the same. District 9 I thought was almost a perfect film. I thought it was fantastic and not what I was expecting.
Born Identity in space.
Pretty much, that's basically what he'll be bringing to it. He's not going to be bringing any great depth.
No, I wouldn't think so. But it does feature the guy from District 9 as well.
Yes, that's right.
Sharlto Copley or something his name.
Yep.
He's also in the film.
It looks good. It'll be one. When's it out?
9th of August, I think it is.
Cool. So not far away.
It's got Jodie Foster in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. She plays some sort of government official type person, I think.
She picks weird trolls.
She plays Secretary Rhodes.
Secretary Rhodes.
So that's coming out August 9th. It looks pretty cool. Another one I put in here, I don't know why I added it to the list because I have no interest in this film at all, but August 16th, Kick-Ass 2.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I couldn't give a fuck.
Can't wait.
Me neither.
Love the first one. Love the first
I
one.
quite like the first one. I always felt it was almost like a pastiche on the comic book genre. A pastiche.
there you go, yeah. Is that no nut? Is that no nut? No, the green nut? No.
Pistachio.
There you go.
I always felt with Kick-Ass, you would really have got Kick-Ass a lot more if you'd been a comic book fan. I don't know if that's everybody else found that. I certainly found that watching it. I quite enjoyed it, I've got to say.
I enjoy that.
My missus thought it was the biggest lot of horse shit she'd ever seen in her life.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm
like
kind
your
of with your missus on that one. On the basis that first, when Kick-Ass came out, the concept of him getting dressed up as a superhero to do kind of what Batman does, it was fine, but towards the end, it took a really, really serious.
He's not like a superhero. He goes to save someone, he gets stabbed and knocked over. that was me. I was fucking howling. I was absolutely howling.
But it took a serious turn though, because obviously from the first one, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, what happens to fucking Nicolas Cage is fucking brutal. You know,
Yeah.
but then it's Nicolas Cage, we don't really care. But the fact of
I've
the
never
matter,
read the comics, but what I gather is that Mark Miller tends to write pretty fucking graphic stuff though.
well, I mean, you just have to look at 300 to know.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of goes for it. So I mean, I don't know. I'll be interested to see where it goes. I'm interested because there's already controversy about the film that's already come out.
Because of Jim Carrey.
Because of Jim
I was gonna
Carrey.
say
Jim
Jim
Carrey's
Carrey,
come out and said he plays Colonel Stars and Stripes.
Yep.
And his weapon's a baseball bat, but he has now come out and said that he wished he hadn't made the film because of the amount of violence in it, because he's against guns and all the rest.
And he's also said he won't promote it for the very same
Aye.
reason. But by very saying that, he's promoted it beyond.
Exactly, and then Mark Miller basically wrote a kind of open letter to him on the internet, like as a retort, and it was a very nice letter that basically said, very sorry that you feel this way. However, you saw the first one, you quoted the first one on interviews and everything, saying that you really want to be involved with the project. The first one's violent. To join the project and now say that you wish it wasn't.
I'm also assuming he read the fucking script before he signed up for it as well.
Like,
Do you know
so,
what I mean? That should have been
but Jim
long.
Carrey's a bit fucking loopy now, but his character looks really good as well. And the Crimson, what was his name? Crimson, whatever the baddie was.
Mist.
The
Crim-
Crimson
yeah,
Mist is now
right,
in
yeah.
this one the motherfucker. Any villain called the motherfucker, it's a tick from me. Tick. Sign me up. I'll review it.
Yeah, so that's out 16th of August, I think that one is, Kick-Ass 2. Yeah, there's a whole load of other films coming out, but I thought we'd save them for future podcasts and obviously albums as well. That's about it, unless there's anything else anyone wants to add, or...
No, I would just like to say thank you for your hospitality once again, Dave.
Not a problem.
At the Rock and Reel Mansions.
Not a problem. We
And
were
obviously
back-
it's good to see Baz too.
Always.
Obviously you can't see him, you can only hear him. But it's nice to hear his voice too. It's very soothing.
What about we shout out to all our new reviewers, Dave? Why don't you tell the world about our
Aye.
new reviewers?
We've got a team of them now, all
We do
over
have
the
a team.
world.
It got to the point where we were getting far too much music and we couldn't actually cope with them. We still actually can't
I was
cope
about to
with
say
them.
nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed, yeah. We're
Too
still
much
getting
music for
too
even
much.
Duncan. You know we've got too much music when he can't handle it.
So the only thing to do was to go on a recruitment drive and bring in some more reviewers.
Recruitment.
So
Aye.
we've got,
Set up a couple of
Navy.
stalls at some campuses during Freshers Week, gave it some hoodies and t-shirts.
Yeah.
Uh,
yep.
What are you thinking about doing when you graduate? You ever thought of writing? Come this way, boy.
So
you know
we're
what
now,
the internet is?
Would you like to exchange monosyllabic expressions with your fellow man? No? Yeah, you would.
Bring us in. Bring it. Who
we now have
next?
11 reviewers. So we have obviously the four of us here.
Motherfucking A-team.
Oh yeah, shut up,
Yep.
EA.
We've got myself, Duncan, Baz, Mikey. We've also got Paul, who's been reviewing for a while. We have hormonal Graham.
Hairless Graham.
Hairless Graham.
Wank.
We have Lee covering most of the films.
Good guy.
We also have Kyle from Norway.
Is he from Norway? Or is he just live in Norway?
It's not a very Norwegian name.
I got the impression that he's not Norwegian. I don't know. Kyle, write into us and tell us
Yeah.
if you're actually from Norway.
What's your background?
He speaks Norwegian.
Oh, he fucking lives there. It's brilliant. You probably need to learn that.
Did you know he'll start living there this year? I don't know. I'll
Alright.
speak to you later, Kyle.
Is he somebody?
Are you not doing background checks?
Seven Oaks,
Seven Oaks.
I think. Well, unless it's
That's
a
a
big
mental
name.
institution.
Anyway, bring it back. So Kyle in Norway,
Yeah, Kyle in Norway. We have Sarah,
who's on the next podcast.
who's on the next podcast. Look out for that one.
Girl.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
She's apparently going to be doing it in our jammies. There we go.
That's right.
There.
We've got Owen, who is down in Wales.
Yep.
Owen also plays bass in a band called Triaxis. Check them out.
Check out Triaxis.
And we've got Ewan
We've got you.
Up in,
my godson.
up in
There
Dunedin.
we go.
Yeah.
So that is the 11.
What a
And,
team.
What a team. And we seem to be covering pretty much all bases, I think, at the moment. We've got someone that does a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Um,
And we've got enough for a football team.
that's true also, but
Not that any of us fucking play football right now.
If you want to book us for a charity match,
It would be fucking hilarious.
as long as it doesn't involve chasing, running, moving.
yeah, Bagsy goalkeeper.
I used to play football in my day. In my
Oh
day,
yeah.
that is.
And
You remember as well, the old pigskin.
When's our next podcast? Do you know when our next podcast?
Next podcast is a week on Monday,
A week
so
on Monday.
we've got about 8 days away to the next podcast.
Days, there you go.
And then the next big one is, well, you threw it right into my fucking
I'm,
wedding
I'm
anniversary.
trying to sort that out for you. Buddy. I'm trying to sort that out. Yeah, we've got another big one in October, which I'm hoping I'm going to try and get some sort of video option available for that one because it's going to be kind of Halloweenish themed. So yeah, look out for that one.
Can we not do the next one at his wedding?
No.
I'm
Yeah.
alright with that.
But that's about it for me. Thanks very much for listening to us ramble shite about films and all sorts of albums. We'll be back again soon. But yeah, cheers for listening.
Keep it sexy.
See ya.
Catch you.